Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So before I get started with this video, I want to let you all know about a few things. First of all, I'm going to have a couple of videos that I'm going to do back to back on here. I'm going to do some short live streams on a couple of topics. One topic is Donald Trump and some statements that he made about an admiral, and also statements involving him and Hillary Clinton, like him talking about how she needs to be arrested, lock her up, and then his daughter has engaged in the same activity he accused Hillary Clinton of engaging in. So you all can look out for that. Also, I plan to do a video on this article that Cortland Malloy wrote a few days ago. I want to talk about that and about the issue of whether or not Black men are standing up for Black women. And really, that video is in response to a video that I saw from Chris Miller, also known as Chris Crazy House and Black Up In Ya. So I plan to do that video immediately after the Trump video. And then on my I Declare War channel, I'm probably going to do a video over there, a short hangout over there talking about the so-called Black sector YouTube. So I want y'all to check out that. I really want to just air out some frustrations that I have about the so-called Black sector YouTube. So you all can look out for that. Turn on your notifications. The live streams that I talked about on this channel, I'm going to have those up in a few minutes right after this short little hangout. So I hope that y'all can just stick around and just roll with me this afternoon. These will be some very short hangouts, but I just feel the need to talk about some important things. And also, I may do a hangout about that rap artist Tekashi 6ix9ine or whatever, and his situation. He faces all these years in jail, and I just want to talk about that and just hip hop in general, and just about like the warnings that he was given, and he proceeded anyway, and now he faces, many years in jail. So I may talk about that as well. So y'all look out for those videos. Hit that notification bell. Subscribe to this channel if you're not subscribed. Also, share this channel with your friends and colleagues. I want to get my subscribers up. I'm trying to reach 10,000 subscribers, hopefully by the end of the year. So I hope y'all could rock with me. So I want to thank the people that are tuning in. Shout out to Teresa F. Shout out to Leonard. Shout out to Allie Emmett. Shout out to Blessed One. Thanks for tuning in. Shout out to Bonafide 1970. Shout out to you. Good morning, peace and blessings to each and every one of you. So this video right here is an open challenge to two groups of people. The first people that I want to challenge are these people that claim to be too woke to vote. All these people that you hear on YouTube that are saying, well, African Americans shouldn't vote. African Americans vote is taken for granted, and we shouldn't vote because we don't have a Black agenda. A whole bunch of these people running around parroting that fake pimp Tariq Nasheed. I mean, you got all these people parroting him, and this is an open challenge. I listen to these people, and basically, instead of coming up with original material based on logic and sound facts, sound reports or actual information. A lot of these people just blindly follow the popular personalities here on YouTube. They follow these people, they parrot these people without even critically thinking about things. And, I'm going to open up my channel tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to debate any of these people that support this, don't vote movement, this whole movement about holding back our vote and all that kind of stuff. These people that say that they are too woke to vote, I challenge them to a debate. And I'm just going to name some of the names of the people that I openly challenge. I openly challenge Search for Uhuru. He had a live stream the other day, and, I made some brief little comments on there, just letting him know my position, basically telling him I'm too woke not to vote. And the guy was just parroting what Tariq Nasheed always says and all that kind of stuff. So I said, well, let's debate. Give me a few minutes so I can get home, and I'll be glad to debate you right now live on your channel. So The brother said, well, I'm not available right now. We can debate later on this afternoon. And I left my email address, and I think he left his email address, but it never happened. We never had our debate. So I openly challenge him right now to a debate on this issue of voting. You know, it's one thing for people to do these little live, these little videos where they're not actually going up against anyone, where they're not actually challenging their ideas, where their ideas are not being put to the test. It's easy to do that, but it's quite a whole nother thing when you are forced to have a debate that's live, where you don't get to edit out the pieces that you don't like, where you don't get to, basically shadow box. And that's what a lot of these people do on here. They are used to just punching a punching bag or whatever. A punching bag can't punch you back. A punching bag just stands still and just takes the punches. But when you try to punch a real live person that's throwing punches back at you, that's a whole nother story. So I challenge him to a debate. Again, I'm opening up my channel at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will post my email address in the description box so that people can email me directly if they're interested in debating, and I will send them the link so that we can engage in this debate. So that's one person that I want to debate. Search for Uhuru. I want to debate Cynthia G. She's another one of these people on here who did a video basically talking about why should we vote. Again, parroting this guy, Tariq Nasheed. I challenge her to a debate. And for those of you who are listening to this video, reach out to some of these YouTubers and let them know that I openly challenge them to a debate. Right now, YouTube is set up so you can't do the messaging thing like you used to be able to do. So I can't just message these people directly. But I encourage you, comment to one of their videos, say New Possibilities challenges you to a debate on this issue of voting. Also, another person that I challenge is Taurean. I think that's how you pronounce his name. And Chris Miller. I support Chris Miller. I'm cool with him, and Taurean. I just respectfully disagree with them on this issue of voting, and I would challenge them to a debate. And I left a comment on one of Taurean's videos. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I left a comment on one of his videos, and I basically said, I would love to debate you guys live, love to debate both of you, because they had a live stream and they were talking about this issue of voting, basically downplaying the significance of voting, again, parroting Tariq Nasheed's talking points like so many of these other YouTubers do. So I would welcome the chance to debate you, Taurean and Chris Miller live on these particular issues. Another person that I would love to debate is Boyce Watkins. I will debate these people live. Right now I'm going to open my channel up at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to debate anybody that wants to debate on this issue. I would welcome the opportunity to debate. Tariq Nasheed is another one. He's the main person that, this has put it out here that he's not supporting voting. He's downplaying the significance of voting. And, he went on to criticize, what's his name? What's that brother's name? Roland Martin. He criticized Roland Martin or whatever in response to Roland Martin's criticism of him. And again, as you all know, I did a video on this subject, and I basically pointed out how Roland Martin is on point in his criticism of, Tariq Nasheed and these other people that are running around here telling you not to vote. His criticism is founded, is based on actual facts and logic. And the people that basically responded to Roland Martin didn't come with like actual facts or, actual rebuttals. Instead, a lot of them came back with a whole bunch of ad hominem attacks. And I understand ad hominem attacks, but if you want to like discredit somebody's position or rebut their position, you have to come with actual substantive arguments. And many of these people failed to do so. Another person that I would love to debate live is Robert Perkins, AKA, the nigger with the tattoos. I would love to debate him live on this issue. And I've done response videos to most of these people that I'm talking about on this issue of voting. But again, I'd rather debate somebody live so that you can have ideas tested, where ideas are put against each other in actual fight, not like an actual physical fight. Not, I'm not encouraging any of that. I'm just talking about debating ideas. Again, it's easy to punch a punching bag that's not going to punch you back. It's easy to talk in the abstract, like for me to like talk in the abstract about, voting issues and stuff like that. That's quite another thing from actually having those ideas challenged. It's easy for me to actually talk about some celebrity or something like that because they don't punch back. They don't come back with substance. They're not going to respond to somebody that's not famous or on their level in terms of fame and wealth and all that kind of stuff. So it's easy to go up against them. Going against them is much like punching, a punching bag because they're not going to respond. So, again, I challenge all these people to a debate on this issue of voting on my channel. Now, every now and then, I just wonder which one is worse, these don't vote people or these straight up coons, these people that support Donald Trump and the Republican Party. I mean, to me, I go back and forth on which is worse. I mean, at least those, Republican people understand the importance of voting. Even though they're voting for the wrong people and they support the wrong cause, at least they understand the importance of voting and they don't go against people's, exercising their civic duty by actually voting. So in that sense, in that very limited sense, I have more respect for them than I do for these don't vote people. Now, I would welcome the opportunity to debate some of these right-wing people as well. That's the second group of people I would love to debate live here on my channel. I don't want to long, it's cool to be on these panels with people, like I participated in panels on O'Shea's channel or whatever. That's cool. But I would rather have a one-on-one debate with these people. I would rather do that. I want to debate a Candace Owens. This woman's always going around challenging famous people to a debate. Well, I will challenge her to a debate right here on this channel. I'm not famous or anything, but I'll eat her alive in a debate. She and the many people like her defend the indefensible. So I would love to debate her. I would love to debate that guy, Brandon Tatum, another one of these mouthpieces for the far right, another one of these mouthpieces for white supremacy, to sum it up. I would love to debate Anthony Bryan Logan, live, one-on-one type of debate. It can be on this platform or it can be on somebody else's platform, just as long as there's a moderator to manage that discussion. And, and that just reminds me, like, I want to touch on two other people that I want to debate. I want to debate Obsidian. I would love to debate him on his support for Donald Trump and the Republican agenda, or I could debate some of these people on these gender issues. But it has to be a fair scenario, where I'm in a neutral environment or on my channel where we have a one-on-one dialogue. I mean, the last time I was on Obsidian's channel, he was basically on that fuckboy type stuff, to be blunt, to be real blunt and just out front. He was on that fuckboy type stuff, where you challenge somebody to a fight, but then when you get into that fight, you got your homies jumping in instead of it being a one-on-one fight. So, and maybe it's, on my part, I should have, checked out his format to see how he does things before I even appeared on his program. But I want a one-on-one debate with these people. And the thing is, with Cynthia G, like, I would debate her on a neutral platform as well, like going back to that first group of people I talked about debating. Because like I noticed that with a lot of these people, they think that the loudest voice is the stronger voice, or the voice that is most correct, that they can out-talk you or talk over you or mute you and all that kind of stuff. They can, win a debate. And that's not really how debates are won. And I see that that's her modus operandi when she debates people. So I want to be on either a neutral platform or my platform so that we can have a fair exchange of ideas, because I really look forward to challenging these people. And, just for the sake of people having my email address so that they can know how to contact me, I'm just going to say it right now. My email address is newpossibilitiesblog@yahoo.com. Again, that's newpossibilitiesblog@yahoo.com. And I'm going to be going live at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I challenge all these people that are so against voting or downplay the significance of voting. I challenge them to a debate at that time. If you are interested in debating me, whether you're one of these people that I named out or somebody else that's familiar, that I'm familiar with, just send me an email and let me know. Again, my email address is newpossibilitiesblog@yahoo.com. You can contact me there, and I'll be happy to send you the link directly. I just have to screen to make sure that there are no trolls receiving the link. If I'm familiar with your channel, I will send you the link. And you don't necessarily have to be one of the people that I named out, but I'll be happy to debate any of these people that left these comments to my videos, trying to say that voting doesn't matter, that voting is irrelevant, that people like Roland Martin don't matter, and that people like a Tariq Nasheed are, the most relevant. I mean, somebody like a Tariq Nasheed who hasn't ever led any kind of political movement at all, doesn't even know about politics, can't even articulate a sound and comprehensive Black agenda, but yet he wants to criticize everyone for not having a Black agenda before voting. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. So again, my email address is newpossibilitiesblog@yahoo.com. Send your email to me if you are interested in joining that discussion, and I will allow you to debate me live on this subject. And these Republicans, these people that want to defend Donald Trump, again, I welcome you to a debate as well, because your defense of Donald Trump is absolutely ridiculous and asinine at this point. With the utter disrespect that Donald Trump has shown Black women and Black people, period. But yet and still you have these delusional, ignorant Negroes running around here supporting Donald Trump as if they've lost their damn minds. I don't know what's wrong with these Negroes, and I would love to debate them live. All right, so let me see what people are saying. I'm glad that people are posting my my email address in the chat. Yeah, thanks for doing that. I will post it in the description box and in the comment section for people that are interested in debating me. I welcome the opportunity to debate. Somebody by the name of, I'm going to go through your comments in a second, but I just want to respond to this comment while I see it. Somebody said, get off the Democratic plantation. Somebody like that, I mean, all you're doing is repeating talking points. That's not an argument. That's just a talking point that you have been programmed to put out here. That is a talking point used by the Candace, Owens, and all these other Black Republicans, these buffoons that support a racist. That is nothing but a talking point. So you're going to leave the so-called Democratic plantation to go over to the Republican plantation, a plantation where that welcomes white supremacists like Richard Spencer, David Duke, the alt-right, the Nazis, and KKK members. That's your idea of leaving a plantation? That's your idea of freedom? You Negroes are delusional, man. So yeah, I challenge these people to a debate. I mean, I'm not familiar with your channel, so I don't know if you're a troll or not. So I'm not going to say I'll send you the link to the Hangout. I need to be familiar with your channels before I send you the link. One problem, as you all know, people that are familiar with my channel, you know that I had a problem the other day when I posted the link in the chat room and a troll got on in here and they basically shut down my channel or my particular live stream. And I want to make sure that that never, ever happens again. So I need for people that are interested in debating me to actually send me an email telling me you're interested, and I will send you the link and we can debate, whether you're one of the people that I named or not. And I would take a bet on like whether or not people will respond to this video, like whether or not any of these people that I named will respond. But y'all tell me, do y'all think any of these people will respond? And as I said before, let them know that I challenged them. Go to their comment sections and say, hey, New Possibilities challenge you to a debate on voting. And this was something that I thought that I may be able to talk about on O'Shea's channel, but they came up with another topic at the last minute. So we weren't able to debate that, because I would welcome the chance to debate Cynthia G live, man, as I said before. Because a lot of these people are so politically ignorant and unaware of the actual facts that I would tear them apart in the debate, man, hands down. So let me check with y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, get the likes up. Thanks for liking the video. Thanks for recommending that people like the video. Yeah, I mean, if I debate, shout out to a dude's thought. Yeah, if I debate people, I'm gonna be respectful. If someone comes on my channel and they want to debate me, I'll put the name calling and all that kind of stuff to the side and deal with them respectfully. Just focus solely on the issues at hand. Because when you have the truth on your side, when you have actual facts and statistics on your side, when you have actual information on your side, you don't even need to resort to name calling. So, I'll debate any of these people in a civilized manner, where we focus on actual substance and not personal attacks. So I welcome that. And that's a good point. I'll be respectful. So Blessed One said Boyce is a registered Republican, yet he's telling black folks not to vote. He's down with voter suppression because he definitely did his part. Wow. Now, I don't know if he's a Republican, but, assuming that what you're saying is correct, I mean, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised that he's a Republican because he spouts a lot of right-wing rhetoric. I was watching this documentary the other day about I was watching this documentary yesterday about James Brown, and he was like, they were talking about how despite all this black and I'm proud rhetoric, despite, him giving a certain appearance of being pro-black, this man supported Richard Nixon, one of the most right-wing Republicans ever. A man who sponsored or supported that war on drugs, basically to wage war on the black community, a man who's done all kinds of things that were detrimental to the black community. But yet and still, you had this man who was running around talking about I'm black and I'm proud, supporting Richard Nixon. And the main reason why he supported him is because Richard Nixon had this black capitalism initiative that he was pushing. And a lot of these people that claim to be pro-black are nothing but right-wing people. They support right-wing conservative ideas that do not benefit our black community. And, despite their rhetoric, despite all their posturing and stuff like that, many of these people are nothing but modern day Booker T. Washingtons, and not in a good sense, not in the sense like Booker T. Washington actually built an institution that's still around today. I'm talking about in a negative sense of being an accommodationist, like they accommodate, the political disenfranchisement of black people. They accommodate white supremacy with this separation talk, with the separation rhetoric, and, their whole hands-off policy when it comes to politics and their emphasis on economics. So I wouldn't be surprised if Boyce Watkins is a Republican. And in fact, these people that are telling you not to vote, they are basically doing their part, whether consciously or unconsciously, to suppress black voters. Because many people that listen to these people on YouTube actually follow what people on YouTube say. So if they're popular or favorite YouTube personality and saying our votes don't matter and this and that, then many of these people will sit at home, and then you will have situations like what happened in these 3 states where black people had the chance to elect African-American governors. They had the chance to elect an African-American governor here in Maryland. They had a chance to do so in Florida. They had a chance to do so in Georgia. And many of those elections were lost by just a few votes. If more African-Americans actually turned out to vote, we may have had different results in Florida. We may have had different results in Georgia. You know, I was watching Roland Martin the other day, and he was showing the voter turnout in different communities and in a predominantly Black communities, despite being some of the most populous communities in Florida, they had the lower voter turnouts. It was these white districts with older populations that had larger voter turnouts, well over 70%. And then in a lot of those Black areas, they were in the 60%, you know, percentage rates or whatever. Meaning that they, you know, a significant number of African Americans did not vote, thereby setting up a situation where this brother, Andrew Gillum, actually lost his chance to become governor. So these votes matter, man, but yet you got these people out here telling you our votes don't matter, basically contributing to the problem of voter suppression, whether consciously or unconsciously. Yeah, so so this person said, Pharaoh said, debate him, and let's see how that works out for you. Yeah, I don't know if you're talking about young Pharaoh. You know, I'll be glad to debate Pharaoh. Yeah, that's another person I forgot to mention. Yeah, young Pharaoh. That's another person that I would love to debate live. Let these people know that I'm willing to debate them. Let them know in their comment sections. You know, I don't mind if you post my email address so that they can email me and let me know if they're interested, because I will send them the link. If tonight doesn't work for them, we can work out a time that's mutually convenient, and we can have that debate. You know, a lot of these people, like a young Pharaoh, you know, this guy is pseudo, man. This guy he's a joke to me, man. You know, he comes with half information, half baked ideas. You know, it comes with all these ridiculous conspiracy theories, but yet he has like 100, you know, over 100,000 subscribers and followers, people that actually listen to him. Because I think a lot of times people are more caught up in personality. They're more caught up in charisma than they are in substance. You know, if somebody is fast talking, you know, they're emotional in their presentation, that appeals to a lot of people because a lot of people lack critical thinking skills. They want somebody to tell them what to think instead of actually doing their own research and, you know, developing their own ideas based on information and based on actual facts. So yeah, that's another person that I would love to debate if that's who you're referring to. Yeah, and the Judah mentioned Afro Synergy. That's another person that I would really like to debate in terms of the right wing people. You know, I've mentioned his name before. You know, I would love to debate him. I've actually had, you know, exchanges with him over email about debating him. You know, I challenged him to a debate, and basically he backed out. He said he was willing to join one of those long panels, but he's not willing to have a one-on-one debate. And I've reached out to him before because I can't understand how some red, black, and green Negro finds himself defending Donald Trump, finds himself defending a man who's disrespected Black women and Black people time and time again. How do you find yourself in that predicament? How do you go from being a Black separatist to becoming a shoe shine boy for Donald Trump? How did you work that out? How do you end up in that situation? But if I were to debate him, you know, I would put all this emotional stuff to the side and deal with the substance, because his support of Donald Trump is indefensible. The one thing that I have to give him credit for is the fact that he actually called the election well before like all the experts did, like a lot of the experts. And people like myself just thought that there was no way in hell Donald Trump was going to win the general election. You know, we thought that, you know, just based on the changing demographics, based on all these projections and polls and stats, it seemed like it was difficult, or if not impossible, for Donald Trump to win. And it turns out the Afro Synergy was correct in terms of the outcome of the election. So I got to give him props for that. But in terms of his support for this man, I don't understand how he could support somebody like a Donald Trump. You know, given his history of making anti-Black statements, given his history of supporting policies that are hostile to Black people. And then I've seen videos where this guy, Afro Synergy, is defending voter suppression, where this guy is basically downplaying the legitimate complaints of Stacey Abrams, complaints that were validated by courts of law, downplaying her grievances, and then also, supporting this fake and false idea that somehow Stacey Abrams supported, illegal people voting in elections, illegal immigrants actually voting in elections, which she obviously did not support. So, I would welcome a debate with him. You know, any of these people, let them know that there's an open challenge to a debate. You know, again, if tonight doesn't work for these people, I know people have busy schedules and it's around the holiday time. I would love to debate them at a time that's convenient. So yeah, he's definitely one of the people that I want to debate. Yeah, so a dude's thought says, why is everybody parroting Tariq Nasheed? Is it possible that many people don't see the point in voting and it has nothing to do with Tariq Nasheed? I mean, first of all, it has everything to do with Tariq Nasheed because they are repeating his talking points verbatim. So he has influence over these people. Now, I'm not saying that it's solely because of him, but he is a key factor why you have these people constantly repeating his talking points. And some people are just ignorant. I mean, that's the only reason why they would say that they don't see the point in voting. Only an ignorant person would make such an assertion. Only somebody that's clueless when it comes to politics will make such an assertion that politics doesn't matter, or, I don't see the point in voting. That's a display of ignorance for somebody to say something like that. And, again, I would welcome the chance to debate these people about how ignorant some of their opinions are, how uninformed their opinions are. Because if you are sitting up here in 2018 talking about you don't see the significance of voting, there's something wrong with you, especially when you see the direction that this man, Donald Trump, is taking this country. And I can't wait. I'm going to do a video right after this talking about Donald Trump, a real brief video. And then, again, I'm going to do another video about Donald Trump attacking Black women and Black men not really doing anything about it. So I hope y'all can hang around for those two live streams. Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, Bonafide 1970. None of these people that say voting doesn't matter have an agenda, even though that's their constant go-to talking point about why Black people shouldn't vote. Yet none of these people, not a one of them, that support that position have developed a sound, comprehensive political agenda for the Black community. Not one. As I said before, and the reason why they haven't done so is because they're not interested in actually doing work for the people. They are only interested in entertaining you and making money off of you. That's why all they offer you are products for you to purchase. T-shirts and documentaries. We're not freed through documentaries. That doesn't liberate Black people from our condition. It doesn't address any of the problems that we have. It's good information and hopefully to inspire somebody to get involved. But information alone is not enough. We need action along with the information. So yeah, man, they're not serious. They're not serious about doing this work. The only YouTuber that I'm familiar with who's done some kind of political agenda is Afro Synergy, and he's not one of these people that promote the idea of not voting. You know, he doesn't promote the idea that Black people shouldn't vote. He supports civic engagement, despite the fact that I disagree with him in terms of like his support of Donald Trump. At least he does support Black people actually voting. Shout out to David Bowman. Yeah, and I'd love to address that issue of neither party having our best interests at heart. I mean, parties don't, that's not their job to have your best interests at heart. It's your job as a community to make sure that these political parties support your agenda. It's not about what's in their heart or anything like that. It's about you exercising power and influence to demand that they adhere to your will, to your interests. That's what it's about. So it's not about goodness in somebody's heart or anything like that. And some of your criticisms of the Democrats are valid, without a doubt. I've criticized the Democrats and everything. And I only recently became a Democrat, like in 2000, I think it was 2016, I became a Democrat after years of just being an independent. I became a Democrat solely so that I could vote in the primaries here in Maryland. I wanted to ensure that, Bernie Sanders would be the nominee of the Democratic Party. So that was the primary reason why I became a Democrat, within the last couple of years. But prior to that, like in all my adult life as a voter, I've been independent. So somebody, blessed one, recommended Angel as a moderator. His platform is neutral. Yeah, I mean, with Angel, no disrespect or anything like that. His audience is primarily like a lot of these young Black women. So that aren't really interested in politics. Their whole interest is around these relationship issues. So I don't think that would be, a good forum for such a debate. And also, like, I don't want to have to adhere to somebody else, a whole bunch of, rules that people set up. I believe in respect and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not going pussyfoot, and I'm not going to, box without, with gloves on and all that kind of stuff. I mean, even though I'm going to be civilized, I'm not going to have somebody like dictating to me what I can and cannot say to somebody just so that person will feel comfortable and get on the platform. I'm not going to do that. I believe in having a debate, a fierce debate, but a respectful debate. But I'm not going to, adhere to like all these preconditions and all that kind of stuff. So, for those reasons, I don't think that platform would be the best platform, with all due respect. I respect what he's doing over there. It's been a while since I've watched, but that channel is more suited for like relationship type of issues. That's what they do over there. And that's cool. That has its place. That's important, but that's not what this debate will be about. It will be about voting and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of those young women over there are not really interested in politics like that. That's the impression that I get. Most of their interest is like about, Black woman promotion and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, but I appreciate offering that idea, putting forth that idea. Hold on one second, y'all. Yeah, nobody said voting alone is going to change everything. I've said this time and time again, um, and I'm not going to go into that in detail right now, but I've said that over and over again. I've made my point about that issue. And I would love to respond to people that make that point, that try to make that point to, undermine the significance of voting. But I'm glad that you have changed your opinion about voting somewhat. That's a good thing. So Ali Emmett wanted to know if white nationalists and black nationalists share common ground. It depends on how you define black nationalism. For these right-wing nationalists, yeah, I mean, the right-wing black nationalists, these Hotep people, yeah, they share a lot of common ground. In fact, there was talk a while ago about them forming some kind of alliance or some kind of agreement to work with each other. And I've done videos about that. I did a video entitled "Are Hoteps the New Coons?" Let me see what's causing that. Yeah, so I did a video a while ago talking about "Are Hoteps the New Coons?" And in that video, I address, a lot of the commonalities between these far right conservatives, outright white supremacists, and these Hotep people who pretend to be black nationalists. So it depends on how you define black nationalism. A real black nationalist would not have any common ground with these people. A real black nationalist would recognize those people as their open enemy. But you have had like people, even some of the respected nationalists that have met with these clans people. Like the Nation of Islam, for instance, they actually had neo-Nazis at one of their Savior's Day celebrations when Elijah Muhammad was still alive. And then there were reports of Marcus Garvey actually meeting with the Klan as well. I just want to be perfectly clear. I don't share any common ground with those people. Those people are my open enemy, those white nationalists. And I don't think that any black nationalists should be talking about common ground or even thinking about like aligning themselves with these people or reaching some kind of agreement with these people. They are our open enemy. And it's a shame that it's a shame that sometimes we treat our enemy with more respect than we treat our brothers and sisters. Yeah, so Kong Skull Island said they probably won't. And he has this laughing emoji. Yeah, they probably won't come on here. Okay, so somebody asked, hold on one second. So Ali Emmett said they won't respond because it's not about real discussions or solutions for most of these people you mentioned. It's about their platforms, donations, Patreons, etc. Exactly. Well said. There's nothing I need to even add to that. So Ahmed asked, who did I vote for? Please let me know. I don't have any problems telling people who I voted for. I live in Maryland, as most people know. I voted for Ben Jealous for governor of Maryland. He's an African-American man who has a long track record of working on social justice issues. I did a video in support of him. All you have to do is, do a search on YouTube and you'll find that video. If I have time or if I remember, I'll post it in the card so that you all can check it out. Basically, I explained why I supported Ben Jealous. So I've supported him for governor. I supported our incumbents for, U.S. Senate. I think it was Ben Cardin. I voted for him for U.S. Senate. I voted for Elijah Cummings for my House of Representatives. I again voted for Marilyn Mosby for our state's attorney. She has a excellent track record for standing up for the people of Baltimore. She, you know, one of the things that has earned my respect was the fact that she stood up for those, for Freddie Gray and his family. You know, when Freddie Gray was wrongfully killed by Baltimore police, she stood up when she could have been easier for her to just go with the status quo and not stand up and speak out and not bring charges against those officers. But the sister stood her ground and brought charges. So for that, I supported her. You know, and I supported other local candidates for state representative, et cetera. In terms of the presidential election, during the primary, I supported Bernie Sanders for president. You know, after the primary, after he lost and Hillary Clinton won, I stood by my word. You know, I said Bernie Sanders or bust. And since he lost the general, you know, the primary election, I voted for a third party candidate for president, and that was Jill Stein from the Green Party. You know, her agenda was far more progressive than Hillary Clinton's agenda. Hillary Clinton has, you know, a problematic history in terms of her support for the crime bill, in terms of her calling Black youth super predators, in terms of her support for welfare reform. Those things are huge for me. So for those reasons, I couldn't support a Hillary Clinton. I voted for Jill Stein. And, you know, I'm not one of these people that tell you you have to just vote for Democrats and all that kind of stuff. I think overall the Democratic Party is a better option for African Americans than the Republican Party. But there have been occasions where, again, I voted for third party candidates. And there have been at least one occasion where I voted against the Democratic candidate as an act of protest. You know, for instance, when I lived in Prince George's County, there was this congressman by the name of Albert Wynn who supported the Iraq War. And, you know, despite me, you know, I sent him a long, lengthy letter. And I wish I still had that letter, basically explaining all the reasons why the United States should not go to war with Iraq. And I encouraged him not to support that war. When he decided to go ahead and support that war, despite all this evidence that proved to be correct later on, you know, this evidence about there not being weapons of mass destruction and all that kind of stuff, not being a tie, you know, there's no tie between Saddam Hussein and that group, Al Qaeda, and the terrorist attacks and all that kind of stuff. Despite all that, that man decided to go ahead with his decision to support the Iraq War. And history has proven all those people that voted in support of that war, it has proven them to be wrong. You know, and it's proven, you know, the people that criticize the idea of going to war, right. It's proven us to be right. So when he decided to go in that direction and vote in support of that war, I voted against him in the election at that particular time. And so, yeah, so the bottom line is you got to analyze these candidates based on their agenda, based on their history, based on their track record, and not just based on their political party. So, yeah, so let me just keep going through your comments. Yeah, I mean, a lot of them, they are hustlers, but they are also right-wing in many ways. You know, a lot of these people, they're not about changing society. All they want to do is get their piece of the pie. You know, all these people do is promote this black capitalism myth as, you know, the way to solve our problems. You know, they don't want to address like systemic racism in society. You know, these people don't advocate us participating in the political process. So in a lot of ways, they are right wing. So I stand by that statement. Some of them are hustlers too. It's not like you have to be one or the other. It's like a combination of both. Yeah, B Money. That's the video that inspired me to challenge him to a debate, man. I was watching that video and I left some comments. I think that's the video I was watching and stuff. Yeah, where he was making these very ignorant type of statements, and just parroting Tariq Nasheed. And I just asked him, I was like, why are you parroting Tariq Nasheed? It's like, and that's a prime example, just like how influential some of these YouTube personalities are. I mean, they are so influential that you have so many people that parrot what some of these personalities say. And some of them, they will parrot it, but they won't even cite their sources. So they try to make it seem like they're coming up with some original statements or whatever, when all they're doing is parroting somebody else. All they're doing is serving as an echo chamber for somebody else. But yeah, that was a disappointing video. Like, I agree with him on some things, like when I've done, and I don't follow him like that. I've been on a couple of panels with him on O'Shea's channel. And like on some of those panels, we tend to agree on some points. But on this voting piece, I respectfully disagree with him, man. Yeah, and I would love to debate that immigration issue. I see this guy, George Tinker, brought up that issue. And you hear it a lot, like a lot of these people parroting this Donald Trump anti-immigrant sentiment. And I've done a whole bunch of videos on that, so I won't go into that right now, but I would welcome the chance to debate that as well. Like, for all these right-wing people that want to support Donald Trump and all that kind of stuff. But I don't want to bog people down with going into the weeds on that particular subject right now. People that are familiar with this channel know about my position on that issue. And this person right here said just because they're black doesn't mean that they had the best interest of the black community at heart. Hold on one second. I'll be back. I want to respond to that, but hold on one second. All right. Sorry about that. So my response to that is simple, man. I mean, first of all, if you just look at, I never support just voting for somebody because they're black. That has never been my position. It's about somebody's position on the issues. When I look at the positions of Andrew Gillum, when I look at the positions of a Stacey Abrams, and I look at the positions of a Ben Jealous, I see a progressive agenda. I see an agenda that benefits the black community. That's what I saw when I saw their agendas. When I compare it to their opponents, I see that there's no competition. I see that they are far more progressive on those issues. And for those reasons, if I was a Florida resident, I would have voted for Andrew Gillum. If I was a Georgia resident, I would have voted for Stacey Abrams. And we have to bear in mind that the people that they were opposing during those elections were very far to the right. These people that they were opposing are people that have the support of white supremacists. It is no coincidence that white supremacists ran robocalls in Florida and Georgia, making all kinds of despicable comments about black people and about those black candidates in particular. That is not a coincidence. There is no contest when you have a choice between a black progressive woman and a right-wing candidate such as Kemp, who's suppressing black voters. There is no contest between those people. As a black person, there should be no doubt in your mind as to who you're going to vote for. On one hand, you got somebody that's progressive, that supports policies that are beneficial to the Black community. On the other hand, you got somebody that's trying to suppress voters that are Black. There should be no contest in that situation. And I think that people hide behind this issue of, Black candidates not supporting the Black agenda or Black interests. They hide behind that to use that to justify their apathy, to use that to justify their laziness. They use that to justify being trifling, basically. These trifling Negroes, and that's what they are. Anybody that doesn't have, the willingness to do the research to find out about these candidates, they're trifling. Anybody that just wants to sit at home and not vote, that's trifling. When our ancestors fought and died for that right. But I know in the minds of a lot of these people, the sacrifice of our ancestors mean absolutely nothing to these ignoramuses. But let me settle down, man. Y'all just get me fired up, man. Some of these things. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. Just bear with me a second. Sorry about that. I got a call that came in. Yeah, I mean, he basically encouraged people not to vote, Ali. I mean, he basically said that people who vote are idiots. That was the whole point of one of his most recent videos about the election. Just bear with me a second. I'm going through your comments. Oh, so somebody said they're talking about this elderly brother named Pharaoh. I don't follow that other guy. I think I know who you're talking about. And I don't know his position on voting, so I can't speak on that. Like, I vaguely know about him. I never watched any of his videos. There's another YouTuber that I know that from time to time will talk about him, but I don't know about him, so I wouldn't debate somebody that I don't know about. Like, there's no reason for me to debate him. I don't know his position on voting or any of that stuff. So he's not one of the people I'm talking about. I'm not even familiar with his channel, so I wouldn't debate him. Exactly, blessed one. Not voting is like making a choice to be a victim. Exactly. So, yeah, so I mean, this person just asked the question again about who I voted for. I just told people who I voted for. Like, as I'm doing these live streams, most of the time I provide my commentary, then I look at the comments. Like, it's hard for me to, talk while looking at the comments. So I usually do things separately. I'll present my initial comments, and then I'll look at your comments in the chat room. But yeah, I already answered that question. I told you all who, all that kind of stuff. All right, let me go back 1 second. This bounces around, so y'all have to bear with me. Okay. So somebody said he has 3 channels. Only one is for relationships. I don't follow Angel like that, so I don't know. Like, I just know that the main channel that I'm familiar with primarily dealt with relationships. So I don't know. Like, maybe he has some other channels that deal with other things. I don't follow him like that, so I don't keep up with what he's doing now. But again, I still like, other than, the fact that his channels focus on relationships or whatever, there's also the issue of dealing with somebody else's set up rules and all that kind of stuff. Like, I believe in being respectful, and I think that overall that should be the only rule. I'm not going to kowtow so that somebody can feel comfortable to go on a platform. So that's my only thing, but that's a good suggestion, though. I mean, I like how he does his hangouts, like the ones that I've seen. He's had some controversial hangouts that he really conducted well. So, I mean, he does offer a good platform. I just don't think it's the right fit for this type of discussion. And but yeah, that's a good recommendation, though. I don't know what those other. Yeah, I'm not subscribed to him, so I don't know like what channels he has at this point. So somebody asked, do we need a third party? Um, yeah, I support third parties. As I pointed out, people need to have. I think the more choice that you offer people, the better the situation is. It provides more competition for ideas, and it creates more democracy. So I support third parties. I think that there should be alternatives besides the 2 parties. Um, Yeah, and I get that whole argument about financially supporting candidates, but votes matter as well. I mean, we should put our money where our mouth is and put money behind candidates. And there are, African Americans that actually organize those kind of efforts. And if I'm able to, I may reach out to a couple of my like former colleagues that actually have their own firm that specializes in organizing fundraisers for African American candidates. I may have them on here if I can, if they agree to it, to talk about what they actually do. They actually do what a lot of these YouTubers talk about all the time, about raising money and financially supporting candidates. They actually, raise money for candidates and organize Black people to fund these different campaigns. So there are Black people that are doing that stuff, and there are Black people that have political agendas and all that kind of stuff. So we just got to quit putting forth this helpless type of image of Black people, this idea that we don't do anything, we don't financially support anybody, and this and that. When there are people that do all that kind of stuff all the time. And we got to realize that, not only is financially supporting somebody powerful, our actual vote is powerful. If our vote didn't matter, these politicians wouldn't even bother coming to our community to, talk about voting for them. They wouldn't even waste their time going to Black churches or going before Black civil rights organizations if Black votes didn't matter at all. They need Black votes in order to get elected. And that's the case for most of these Democratic candidates. And people will say, well, Black people don't get nothing in exchange for their support for these Democrats. Tell that to all those Black congressmen who are and women who are being appointed to head up all these committees in Congress now that you have a Democratic majority. Tell that to the African Americans who were nominated for governors in Florida and Georgia and Maryland. And then you got another one of these people, the Masons control everything, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I get so tired. It's like these people had this victim mentality. They love to um, promote this idea that somehow the Masons control everything. That's one of these ideas that guy, Young Pharaoh, puts out here. And then like any black people that are politically engaged or who talk about voting are a part of the boule and this and that, all this other these little buzz terms that people use. Like people are accustomed to buzz terms more so than they are to like actually thinking things out. If you can dismiss somebody by saying, oh, he's boule and this and that, like people were more caught up in like Tariq Nasheed's insults towards Roland Martin than they were actually caught up into the question of whether or not Tariq Nasheed provided a sound response to Roland Martin's assertions. Yeah, so shout out to y'all, man. I'm still on vacation, so I have a little bit of time to do these live streams. Shout out to BB. And B Money says that Jill Stein was a Russian asset. If you could provide more information about why you believe that, that would I would be happy to look at it. Um, I find that to be, I doubt that assertion though, but I would be interested in whatever evidence you have to support that. Also, I may talk about this shooting that took place in Chicago as well. I'm gonna do some research on that. I may be back up on here to talk about that as well. So y'all look out for that too. Thanks, BB, for your comments of support. Thanks to David Bowman for your positive comments as well. And Blessed One. Yeah, Ali, I mean, a lot of people do go off of sound bites. Big Game said everybody's ducking you, MP. They're scared. Yeah, they may be ducking me for real. I know Afro Synergy's definitely ducking me because I reached out to him a long time ago and I said, let's debate, man. I want to debate you on this, on these issues of your support for Donald Trump and, politics and all that kind of stuff. And I was on an email chain, as I mentioned before, where I said, let's debate. And I basically called him out as a chicken, man. I said he's too afraid to debate me, man. And it's a shame, man, because I would welcome the chance to debate these guys, man. So somebody said, "Brother, you need to stop cooning." I mean, what do you define cooning? How am I cooning by saying we need to exercise our right to vote? How is that cooning? Are you talking to? I know you can't be talking to me because it's idiotic to say that exercising your right to vote is cooning. To me, that's stupid. Cooning is disrespecting your ancestors by not exercising your right to vote. Disrespecting those people that fought for your right to vote, those people that were beaten by the police, had dogs sicked on them and, were tear gassed and all that kind of stuff so that we could vote. People that were lynched so that we could vote. By disrespecting them, that's the ultimate form of cooning to me. By sitting your ass at home and not getting up and voting, that's cooning to me. So I don't see how you define me as a coon for saying we need to vote, for saying that we need to have our voices heard. How is that cooning? Just bear with me. Yeah, I'm gonna keep some of these comments up just so that people can see the kind of. Yeah, so BB said Dr. Clark said he only debates his intellectual equals. Yeah, that's something that that I hear a lot. I hear that quote a lot. I'll debate somebody that's not even my intellectual equal. I don't mind debating. I'm an equal opportunity debater. So I'll take on any of these people, man. Any of them. And I think that often what people do is they hide behind that quote. They use that quote so that they won't have to debate you. That's what they do. They hide behind it. And one of those people was your man David Carroll. For years, he hid behind that quote. See, as long as you're helpless victims, and as long as the political establishment can't help you in any way, shape, or form, that forces you to look to these YouTube personalities as your salvation. So you end up buying their products, watching their videos, focusing on them when they offer no solutions, when they are not a part of any movement at all, not a political movement, not a protest movement, not a single movement. The only movement that they are part of is their cult of personality. And at the end of the day, they cash out by your dependence on them. They're not about any solutions. And I will debate any of these people and I will call them out for it. Yeah, B Money said, I know some of the top conservative ones are being paid, including Tommy Sotomayor and Anthony Brian Logan. Yeah, I mean, I know for a fact, like that guy, Brandon Tatum, for instance, he's down with Turning Point USA. It's no coincidence that these people happen to get on Fox News, like that guy, Brandon Tatum or Candace Owens. These people are paid. Even those buck dancing, shucking and jiving mammies, Diamond and Silk are paid. That came out. There was an article done a while ago that pointed out how they actually got paid. Yeah, so I'm not going to carry out my debate on voting in this video right here by just responding to comments. Again, I requested if people are interested in debating me live at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can email me at newpossibilitiesblog@yahoo.com, and I'm putting it in the chat room again right now. And they have to be channels that I'm familiar with, people that I'm familiar with. I'm not going to allow trolls to hop on here. Yeah, so Marsha Jackson said Tariq didn't want to debate Roland because he knew he would lose. He only called him the N-word and joked about his weight. A lot of nonsense. Yeah, a lot of juvenile nonsense, man, which is what he's known for. Like again, like I've said before, he should just be a comedian instead of pretending to be one of these pro-black activists out here. Like I find it funny that he would have like those white racists. He would debate white racists. I forget those guys' names. You know, somebody from the alt-right movement. He had one of those people on his channel, you know, talking to them. And, you know, when he talked to that guy, what's his name? That guy on Fox News, you know, he's all respectful when he debates those people. But when it comes to his own people, he's clowning them. You know, he's disrespectful and all that kind of stuff. You know, despite talking all this you know, white supremacy this and white supremacy that, like when confronted with white supremacy, people like him flinch, man. They show white supremacy respect, but they don't show that same respect to their own people. And I think that that's very telling. Shout out to Clarence Walker. Thanks for subscribing. Yeah, that person's name was Jared Taylor. That's one of the people that he debated. And he did make Tariq Nasheed look weak, man. And Big Game is saying Roland Martin is boule. You know, that's another talking point from Tariq Nasheed, man. What? And people make it seem like, first of all, I know that Roland Martin is a member of a fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha. You know, I don't know if he's technically a member of Boule, which is another fraternity. They're just fraternities. I mean, people are acting like these fraternities control the world or something like that. And his membership in one of those organizations has no bearing on the merits of his arguments. And that point about him giving questions to Hillary Clinton about the debates, that's a very valid point. That's a very valid point, but that has nothing to do with whether or not we should vote or not. All right, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Again, I'll be back up on here with a couple of a few other short hangouts. So tune in for that. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Peace.